The Springboks have once again demonstrated why they are world champions, securing a commanding 24-13 victory over Ireland at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin on Saturday. The match, which Irish head coach Andy Farrell described as unlike anything he has ever witnessed in his rugby career, was defined by a chaotic first half that saw Ireland reduced to 12 men at one point, with a flurry of cards that ultimately decided the contest. Despite the defeat, Farrell remained defiant in his assessment of his team's performance, insisting that pride was his overwhelming emotion, even as he acknowledged the costly errors that allowed the Springboks to capitalize. The world champions came to Dublin with a point to prove, and they delivered a masterclass in taking advantage of their opponent's ill discipline. Ireland found themselves on the wrong side of the referee throughout the evening, with James Ryan shown a 20-minute red card for a high clear-out on Marx, while Jack Crowley, Andrew Porter, Finlay Bealham, and Caelan Doris all spent time in the sin bin. The sight of Ireland playing with just 12 men on the field was unprecedented, and the Springboks ruthlessly exploited the numerical advantage to build a lead that Ireland, despite their best efforts, could never quite overcome. For South Africa, this victory represents another significant statement in their reign as world champions. The Springboks have built their success on a foundation of physicality, discipline, and tactical intelligence, and all three elements were on full display in Dublin. While Ireland battled heroically, particularly in the second half when they somehow managed to edge the scoring 5 points to 6, despite their depleted numbers, the damage had been done in those crucial minutes before a halftime when the home side's discipline completely unraveled. Farrell was particularly critical of the period immediately before the break, when his team conceded 2 yellow cards in quick succession. Jack Crowley and Andrew Porter both found themselves watching from the sidelines as the Springboks extended their advantage to 19 points to 10, a lead that would prove insurmountable despite Ireland's spirited second-half resistance. The Irish coach identified this as a potential turning point in the match, though he was careful to acknowledge that multiple factors contributed to the defeat. The errors that Farrell referred to as stupid were the kind that elite teams simply cannot afford to make against opposition of South Africa's caliber. Playing the ball through the ruck and conceding 3 offside penalties gave the Springboks exactly the kind of access they needed to impose their game plan. These were what Farrell termed manageable errors, the kind of basic discipline issues that should be well within the control of a team with Ireland's experience and quality. Yet under pressure from the world champions, Ireland lost their composure at critical moments, and the Springboks were clinical in their punishment. What frustrated the Irish coaching staff most was that many of the positive elements from their previous week's performance failed to materialize against South Africa. Their kicking game, which had been precise and effective 7 days earlier, was too long and too inaccurate. Their work under the high ball, an area where they had excelled, was significantly poorer. Most damagingly, their conversion rate in the opposition 22-meter area, crucial against any team but especially against the Springboks, was nowhere near the standard they had set the previous weekend. These collective failures meant that even when Ireland did manage to build pressure and create opportunities, they couldn't turn territorial advantage into points. The post-match press conference became somewhat contentious when one reporter described Ireland's first-half performance as borderline shambolic, a characterization that Farrell immediately and forcefully rejected. The Irish coach preferred the word chaotic, and his response revealed the depth of his pride in how his players had responded to the adversity they faced. Farrell made it clear that while he accepted responsibility for the performance and acknowledged the need to learn lessons from the defeat, he would not tolerate what he perceived as an unfair assessment of his team's effort and character. His defense of his players was rooted in the remarkable resilience they showed in the second half. To go down to 12 men against the world champions and then to emerge from halftime and match them, almost blow for blow in the second period, was, in Farrell's view, nothing short of amazing. The crowd at the Aviva Stadium clearly agreed, their support never wavering even as the cards mounted and the scoreline became increasingly challenging. The connection between the Springboks' victory was built on more than just exploiting Ireland's indiscipline. Their physicality at the breakdown was relentless, their set-piece work was solid, and their game management in the crucial moments was exemplary. This is a South African team that knows how to win the big games, that understands how to apply pressure and then capitalize when opponents crack. They came to Dublin with a specific game plan and executed it to near perfection, demonstrating exactly why they are back-to-back world champions. One element that added an extra layer of intrigue to the contest was the context surrounding refereeing decisions. Farrell revealed that his coaching staff had raised concerns with the officials before the match about whether recent complaints from the South African camp about their treatment by World Rugby might influence proceedings. The referees assured them it would not be a factor, but when asked whether he believed that assurance held true after Sacha Feinberg-mngomezulu escaped further punishment for an early shoulder charge on Tommy O'Brien, Farrell's response was telling. He said he would let others be the judge of that, a diplomatic way of expressing his frustration without directly criticizing the officials. For the Springboks, this result reinforces their status at the top of World Rugby. They have now beaten Ireland in Dublin, adding another impressive away victory to their collection. Their ability to maintain their standards while managing the physical and mental demands of international rugby remains extraordinary. The depth in their squad, the clarity of their game plan, and their collective mental toughness make them formidable opponents for anyone. As Ireland reflect on this defeat, they will recognize that while pride in their effort is justified, lessons must be learned. Discipline against the very best teams is not optional, it is essential. The Springboks showed in Dublin that they remain the benchmark in World Rugby, a team capable of punishing every mistake and weathering every storm their opponents throw at them.